Supercars. It is Friday, August 18th. Just wanted to let you know, as part of my shameless hucksterism, that my latest paperback is out and available on Amazon. It's a good thick book, so you can use it to hold down tarps if you're doing any painting at home, or beach blankets if you're going to spend any time at the beach this weekend. Birthdays and anniversaries this weekend. On the 19th for birthdays, we have Tyler Gillis, who is one of the Honda salespeople. And then on the 20th, we have Bobby Philpotts, who is one of the Honda detailers. So happy birthday. Let's see here. Anniversaries this weekend, both on the 19th, Mike Lozada, who's the Toyota sales manager, and then also Willie Wynn, who is a Honda Lube Tech. So happy anniversary. Factoids involving the total solar eclipse, which is coming up on Monday. As you may know, a solar eclipse happens when the moon's orbit puts it between the Earth and the Sun. So basically what we're seeing is the shadow of the moon against the Sun. Depending upon the orbits of the bodies involved, there are between 2 and 5 solar eclipses each year, depending upon where you're at on the Earth. The reason that a complete solar eclipse looks so spectacular is because the distance between the Earth and the Sun is 400 times the distance from the Moon to the Sun, and the Sun's diameter is about 400 times larger than the Moon's. This isn't a constant state of affairs. The Moon actually used to be closer to the Earth and blocked out the Sun completely when there is a solar eclipse, but it drifts away from the Earth at the rate of about 2 centimeters each year, so the view changes slightly with each passing year as well. And eventually, over the next few 100 million years or so, which is a drop in the bucket in terms of cosmological time, a complete solar eclipse will be a thing of the past. The speed of the moon as it moves across the sun is approximately 1,398 miles per hour. And because of that, the longest a solar eclipse can last is 7.5 minutes. So make sure you have some of the good solar eclipse glasses. If not, make yourself a pinhole viewer so that you can see it. You'll see some spectacular things on Monday, weather permitting. Word of the day. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about Customer for Life and how it relates to something called the lifeboat scenario. There are many variations of the lifeboat scenario, lots of different social science experiments and scenarios and so on, but they all boil down to this. In any group of people facing a mortal danger, like let's say for example the Titanic going down, a certain percentage of people will do each one of the following. About 10 to 15% of the people will act instantly based on recent information. About 15% will panic and go crazy, and everybody else will stand around and do nothing. This applies directly to our business in 2 very specific ways. The first has to do with recalls. As we've seen with Honda airbag recalls, even if the likelihood that something will go terribly wrong is high, as is the case with Honda's Alpha Vans, customers are still reluctant to bring their cars in to have the work done, even though it's free. Instead, we often have to go to them or tell them we can do it during their next maintenance service just to get them to do it, and they still act like it's kind of a bother. The other situation where this frequently crops up in our industry is someone who has an older vehicle that is beginning to cost real money to fix, $400 or more a month just to keep the vehicle running. In their mind, that $400 still costs less than replacing the car. It's a known evil versus an unknown cost. The trouble is, it's not true, and it's not good customer stewardship. You can get a pretty nice car for $400 a month. They just need someone to explain that to them, someone to give them what I call the necessary nudge, and give them permission to spend money on a new car. The issue is often by the time a car regularly costs that much to keep running, even bigger bills for it are on the horizon as more systems break down over time. Better to trade that car in now while it still has at least some value than to spend all that money on an eventual lawn ornament. People are still reluctant to do that, though, even when it's clearly in their best interest to do so. Just like when we pitch Toyota Care Plus or Platinum, it helps if you show them the numbers on paper. How much their vehicle has cost over the past 18 months to keep running, let's say, versus how much a new or a good used car would have cost by comparison. Many folks can't think about numbers abstractly, and seeing everything in black and white allows them to process it more easily and makes them more receptive to a follow-up chat or a call. That numbers tip works with a lot of things: quotes for service, F&I products, accessories, anywhere where you can show the value of something over time versus the cost of not investing in that thing. That's why so many of us have car insurance, health insurance, and life insurance. Folks who sell insurance are experts at what-if scenarios. You can see it in all of their commercials. It takes some work. Again, most people have the overwhelming urge to do nothing even when the ship is going down. but I think it's poor service to let a customer drive a car with an open safety recall or to spend money that they don't really need to when we can help them get into a new car. That's my 2 cents, Motor Cars. Have a great week.